has been erupting. MAGA on Twitter is in a crazy heated debate right now over H-1B visas. As you guys can see on my screen, it's been pretty much the only thing people are talking about on Twitter, or, X, for the past 24 hours, if not 48 hours. And let me just read you guys what's going on if you guys don't know. So Elon Musk has publicly defended the H-1B visa program amid rising tensions within the MAGA community, arguing for its importance in bringing innovative talent to the U.S. Critics of the program, including some MAGA supporters, claim it depresses wages and displaces American workers. The discussion, okay, whatever. Everyone is just disagreeing, okay? It's getting wild. I'm going to be on the side against it, and I'll tell you why. So the whole idea of H-1B is, oh, we're bringing in very skilled, the brightest, the best, the most intelligent people from foreign countries in, because that's the American dream. We want to get the best in here, and they'll thrive and they'll make America even better.
Yes, that is the take, but is that the reality? Isabella Moody breaks it down. I really like her show. This is Isabella Moody, and what she's going to do is get into this, what people are dubbing the MAGA Civil War. Twitter erupted. This was right around the holidays, right after the holidays. Christmas cheer, everybody, erupted into just all out, full blown within MAGA. It was so kind of back and forth. The left didn't even get involved. Libertarians didn't even get involved. Who was involved? Isabella Moody's going to break this down. Patrick Bet-David, Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Donald Trump weighed in a little bit. Not enough, but a little bit. I've got tweets here from Patrick Bet-David telling Americans to shut up and take it. Let's get back to Isabella Moody and figure out here what the hell is going on.
But that's actually not what's happening. Really, what's going on is big companies, the big tech bros, want cheap foreign labor. It's as simple as that. And it's kind of wrapped in a bow of moral superiority, like the American dream for immigrants. But realistically, so many American workers have lost their job due to things like the H-1B visa program.
Let's break down, what is the H-1B visa program? It's basically what she's saying here, just to go into a little bit more details. Initially, you get 3 years. You can extend them up to 6 years. There are supposed to be 65,000 visas available. 20,000 visas for those with master's degrees or higher from U.S. institutions. This is the argument that Young Nick and others were talking about during the primary. During the primaries, when this should have been hashed out. But everyone said, you can't talk about it during the primary. You got to wait till afterwards. Well, we're after the primary. Well, no, you can't do it because you got the inauguration and you've got the nominees that you got to get behind. Okay, you wait. After Trump gets involved, well, no, you got the first 100 days, first 90 days, whatever. You got to help Trump get his agenda. When is then, oh no, it's almost midterms. When is the time to have this debate hashed out? So their argument is it's supposed to go to the highest workers from other countries to take jobs from American companies, from Americans. Applicant must have at least a bachelor's degree. Position must qualify as a specialty occupation. We looked deeper into that, and that's being abused. These vague terms get abused, and if nobody's going to enforce it, then your specialty occupation becomes basically anything in IT. Let's get back to Isabella Moody, and we'll break it down even more.
Program, right? So here's a stat I did find. Basically, the top 30 H-1B employers hired 34,000 new H-1B workers in 2022 and fired at least 85,000 American workers. Does that sound like America first to you guys? Because it sure as hell doesn't to me. And I wanted to show you guys this. So here's this. This is actually pretty sad. This is a former Disney employee breaking down in tears as he describes a group of IT workers being told that they're losing their jobs because their jobs were given to foreign workers through the H-1B visa program. Watch this. It's actually heartbreaking.
I walked into a small conference room with about 24 highly respected fellow IT workers. The Disney executive made a harsh announcement to us all. All of you in this room will be losing your jobs in the next 90 days. Your jobs have been given over to a foreign workforce. In the meantime, you will be training your replacements until your jobs are 100% transferred over to them, and if you do not cooperate, you will not receive any severance pay. I was completely silent during this meeting, thinking how this was going to affect my coworkers. How was I going to break news to my family and pay all of our expenses? I would soon be living on unemployment. Later that same day, I clearly remember going to the local church pumpkin sale and having to tell the kids I couldn't buy any that year because my job was being turned over to a foreign worker. I started to think what kind of an American I was becoming. Was I going to become part of ruining our country by taking severance pay in exchange for training my foreign replacement? How many other American families would be affected by the same foreign worker that I trained? The first part of my 90-day period was focused on capturing all that we did with our jobs. We all felt extremely humiliated when the foreign worker sat next to us and watched everything that we did. The final period of the 90 days was the most disgraceful and demoralizing, as we had to watch the foreign workers completely take over our jobs. And we came to grips that the upcoming Disney jobs promise didn't exist. Then finally, on January 31st of 2015, we were ordered to turn in our company badges, laptops, and then ushered out the door. How can it be that everybody that hears these stories about Disney and the like, from the barbers to the bankers, are completely shocked? Yet our lawmakers continue to debate the topic and take no action. The reason that more affected IT workers don't come out into the public is twofold. And that is why most lawmakers mostly hear from the tech giants and are very rarely heard from the displaced American workers who will disclose themselves publicly.
I mean, seriously, how depressing is that? Seriously. Imagine that's like your dad, your mom, someone these people are American workers.
Let me address the left. I'm going to interrupt Isabel Moody there. Great job breaking this down. It's a very massive topic to break down, and she's not going into the weeds with it to do too much. And I don't want to either. Let me just talk to the left here, because I've been watching more of the left than the right recently. Loosely, you can call certain people right or left. I'm not going to label Isabella Moody. I think she's just for the people, for America, America first. But you watch that, and a lot of the leftists are saying this is a white thing. I even saw some leftists say, look at what's happening to the white man. You tell me, whatever the white person tells a black person, that's what you need to do. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. This is not really even just about white or black, because the people who are arguing against the H-1B visas, this applies to you too, Black Americans or whatever American you are. The argument is American versus non-Americans. And yes, that does affect a lot of white men. Okay, they're included in it, but it's not like they're saying it should only affect white men by getting rid of the H or putting a temporary hold on these visas. This person here, this man here, said that he had to train the cheaper labor. On the left, I thought you were for labor. This guy had to train, he was laid off, he had to train his replacement from whatever country they came from. They work more, they have to work harder, because if they don't work hard, that visa's done. They can get sent home or done at any time. So they work for the company, they work their ass off, they work 80-hour weeks for the same amount of pay or less than the American worker, take all that money, send it back home, and back home, that dollar is a lot stronger. Their family's living high on the hog, and they're doing the honorable thing, working their ass off here, saving the money, and then after the visa's done, they can go back to wherever they came or whatever they want to do. How do you support that, left? The left is exposing themselves as race-baiting anti-Americans. Let's get back to Isabella Moody, who is definitely not that.
And they lose their jobs to foreign labor. Why? Not because they're bringing their best and their brightest. It's all about cheap labor, guys, okay? It has nothing to do with bringing the best and the brightest, because these foreign workers, they will work longer hours for way less, and they won't take off holidays because, as my friend Lisa said on Twitter, it's a cheap labor scheme with a nearly certain path to citizenship. So that's like the quid pro quo. It's like they want to get into America. This is how they do it. And like I said on Twitter here, the big tech bros, they don't support H-1B because it's bringing in the best and the brightest. It's about cheap labor and always will be about cheap labor. How many times can I tell you this? And look at this here. So this was posted by someone.
Now, I will say this. If you're on the left and you want to kind of laugh at MAGA that might have thought that cozied up to Elon Musk, just for the record, I would admit if that were me. That wasn't me. I saw through this before this happened. You can say a lot of it through young Nick is what opened me up to this and looking into it. But whatever the case is, this is not a surprise to me. This is a debate that many on the very, you could say the very Christian nationalist side has been having years before this. But if you want to make fun of the MAGA that thought Elon Musk was going to be a billionaire that was for, companies, large companies not being able to get cheap labor, you have a right to laugh. You're accurate on that. Now, your take should be for American labor, for the libertarians who say, what about the open market? They say, well, the NBA can get all these players from foreign countries and they get the best of the best. You think America is the NBA? How are you? That's like saying I bought a Barbie house and I let Barbies from outside the house into that has nothing to do with the USA. The NBA brings in foreign players. Here's an example. There's many problems with this. We've already laid out replacing American jobs. And I'm gonna stop this one here because there's so much to break down. Here's my final take.
Finish him.
My final take here is, and thank you to Isabella Moody, is look at YouTube. Who are the people that moderate YouTube? Who are the people when they say, click here for manual review? Who are the people doing the manual review? Very often, it's these types of people that are working for Google or YouTube in that case, off of these. There's a bunch of different visas that you could use. Off these visas, these H-1B visas or whatever, and they're not American. They don't know the Bill of Rights. They don't care about the Bill of Rights. They don't understand the Bill of Rights. So YouTube pays them less, and these workers work more hours, like we said here, and then fundamentally, they don't know what it is to be American, and they don't care largely. Why would they? If they have to do some censoring, they don't know the First Amendment. Someone said hate speech isn't a part of the First Amendment. Oh, that's right. That's a hateful thing. It's in the code of conduct for YouTube. The chances of somebody who's American to look at that and say, wait a second, you do work for the government. You're a state actor. I might not have power to stop you from censoring, but I'm surely not going to censor fellow Americans for $60,000 a year. Take your job and shove it. Instead of having to face those potential possibilities, what they do is say, we're hiring DEI. We're looking for, so non-white, we're looking for Pajeets. This is the H-1B Pajeet, basically, movement. Those are people who are more likely to go with, well, you've got a Pajeet CEO now. You've got, we can censor. Oh, you used the word we don't like. Let's de-rank it. We might not even demonetize it. We'll just say you won't get as many viewers. That's problematic. I don't care if you're to the left, right, or otherwise. Let me know what you think in the comments. You got to be America first.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.